There are some lessons in life that stay with you forever. Lessons that change how you think, how you see people, and how you live each day. This is one of those lessons for me. I still remember the day I learned it. I was sitting alone in my room, feeling completely lost and empty inside. I felt like everything I was doing was pointless. I had dreams, yes, but they felt so far away, like stars I could never touch. I kept thinking, why does my life feel so meaningless? Why do I feel so stuck even when nothing is wrong? That day, I came across a story that completely changed my perspective. It wasn't a long story. It wasn't told by a famous person or written in a big book. It was just a simple story I read online, but it felt like it was written exactly for me. It felt like it was speaking to my soul. The words were simple, but the meaning behind them was so deep that I still think about it today. From that day on, I started seeing my life differently. I started feeling lighter, calmer, and more grateful for everything I had. In today's video, I want to share this life lesson with you. Because I believe that you, too, need to hear it. Maybe you are feeling tired of your life. Maybe you wake up every morning without energy or motivation. Maybe you feel like nothing makes you happy anymore. If that's you, then this story is for you. It's a lesson about life, about happiness, and about what really matters. And I promise you, if you truly understand this lesson, it will stay with you forever, just like it stayed with me. This story takes place many years ago in a small village. In this village lived an old man who was known as the wisest person there. People from nearby towns would come just to hear his words. But what made him so special wasn't that he had read many books or traveled to many places. It was because he saw life in a way that most people couldn't. One day, a young man from the village came to visit him. This young man looked tired and sad. He sat in front of the old man and said, "I don't know what to do with my life anymore. Every day feels the same. I wake up, go to work, come home, and sleep. Nothing makes me happy. I feel like I'm wasting my life." The old man listened quietly, nodding his head slowly. Then he stood up and asked the young man to follow him. They walked to the edge of the village, where there was a big, old tree. The old man pointed to the tree and said, "Look at this tree. Do you see how strong and tall it is?" The young man nodded. "Yes, it's very tall and beautiful." Then the old man smiled and asked, "Do you know why it's so strong?" The young man thought for a moment and said, "Because its roots are deep." The old man nodded again. "Yes, its roots go deep into the ground. But there is another reason. Every day, this tree stands here doing the same thing. It doesn't move. It doesn't go anywhere. It just stands, taking in the sunlight and the rain, growing a little more each day. And one day, it became this strong and beautiful tree you see now." The young man was silent, listening carefully. The old man continued, "Your life feels meaningless because you are looking for big things to make you happy. You think you need to travel the world, become rich, or do something special to feel alive. But life is not always about big things. It's about the small things you do every day. Just like this tree. You wake up, you work, you rest, you learn, and you grow. And one day, you will look back and see how strong you have become." The young man didn't say anything. He just looked at the tree and felt tears in his eyes. He realized that he was waiting for happiness to come from something huge and exciting, but in reality, happiness was already there in his daily life. He just wasn't seeing it. This simple story changed the young man's life forever. And when I read this story for the first time, it changed mine too. It made me realize that life isn't meaningless just because it feels ordinary. There is beauty in the ordinary. There is growth in the routine. And there is strength in the small things we do every day. When I finished reading that story, I sat there in silence for a long time. I realized that I was exactly like the young man. I was always waiting for something big to happen to make me feel happy. I thought, one day, I will travel to another country, and then I will be happy. One day, I will have lots of money, and then I will feel successful. One day, I will find my purpose, and then my life will feel meaningful. But that, one day, never came. Every day felt empty because I was ignoring the small things happening right in front of me. I realized that happiness is not something we find far away. It is something we create in our daily life. When I thought about the tree in the story, I understood that true strength comes from consistency. The tree wasn't trying to become tall in one day. It wasn't comparing itself to other trees. It was just doing its best each day, standing there, taking in the sun and the rain, and slowly growing stronger. In that moment, I learned that I needed to change the way I looked at my life. Instead of thinking my days were boring and meaningless, I started seeing them as small steps in my journey. Waking up early, studying English, reading books, working hard at my job, helping my family, these were all roots growing deep into the ground, making me stronger, even if I couldn't see the results immediately. I also learned that I didn't need to achieve something big to feel happy. I could feel happy by just enjoying my morning coffee, feeling the sun on my face, reading a good story, or listening to music I loved. All these small moments were life itself. I didn't have to wait for a perfect future to start living. I was already living, but I was too busy thinking about what I didn't have to notice what I did have. That realization changed everything for me. I stopped feeling so desperate to make something huge happen. I stopped thinking that I was behind in life. I started feeling grateful for every simple thing I had. I realized that I didn't need to compare myself to other people anymore. Just like the tree, I only needed to focus on my own growth, one day at a time. And the more I practiced this way of thinking, the calmer I felt inside. My anxiety started to disappear. My motivation came back. And slowly, life started to feel beautiful again. Not because anything big had changed, but because my mindset had changed. After realizing the true meaning of that story, I decided to change how I lived my daily life. Instead of waking up each morning feeling heavy and empty, I started reminding myself that every day was another chance to grow my roots deeper. I would wake up and say, today, I will focus on my small steps. Even if the day seemed ordinary, even if nothing exciting happened, I knew that these small actions were building the person I wanted to become. For example, before, when I studied English, I always felt frustrated. I would think, why am I not fluent yet? Why is this taking so long? But after learning this lesson, I changed my approach. I started enjoying every small thing I learned. If I learned just one new word, I felt happy because I knew that one word was making my English stronger, just like the tree getting stronger with each drop of rain. At work, I also felt different. Before, I thought my job was boring and meaningless. But now, I see it as a place where I can grow my patience, improve my skills, and connect with people. Even if it's not my dream job, it's part of my journey. It's helping me build the life I want in the future. I also started paying attention to the simple moments in my day. Drinking tea with my family, watching the sky change colors at sunset, listening to music that made my heart feel calm, all these moments became special to me. I realized that these moments are life itself. Happiness wasn't something I had to chase. It was already around me, waiting for me to see it. Another big change was how I treated myself. Before, I was always angry at myself for not being successful enough or happy enough. But now, I treat myself with kindness and patience. Just like the tree doesn't force itself to grow faster, I stopped forcing myself to have everything figured out immediately. I allowed myself to take things slow, to enjoy the process, to trust that if I keep showing up every day, I will become stronger, wiser, and more confident with time. This lesson also made me feel more peaceful about the future. I stopped worrying so much about what will happen next year or 5 years from now. I realized that the future will come, but today is the only day I truly have. If I live today with meaning, if I do my best today, then my future will naturally be beautiful. And that's how applying this lesson changed my life. I stopped feeling empty and lost. I started feeling grounded, like I was exactly where I needed to be. My days still look the same from the outside, but inside, everything feels different. I feel stronger, calmer, and happier. Because now I know, just like the tree, every small step I take today is making me the person I dream of becoming. I want you to remember this story every time you feel lost or empty inside. Because in life, there will always be days when you feel like nothing is changing, like you're not moving forward. You will look around and see other people achieving big things, traveling the world, getting their dream jobs, living exciting lives, and you will feel like you're falling behind. But you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. Remember the tree in the story. It doesn't compare itself to other trees. It doesn't rush to grow faster. It simply stands where it is, taking in the sun and the rain, growing quietly each day. And that's why it becomes so strong and beautiful with time. You, too, are growing every day, even if you can't see it right now. Don't wait for one big event to make you happy. Don't think your life is meaningless just because it feels ordinary. Happiness is not hiding in some distant future. It is right here, in the small things you do every day. In the cup of coffee you drink in the morning, in the smile you give to a stranger, in the words you learn when you study English, in the quiet moments when you sit alone and breathe deeply. These small moments are what life is made of. So, if you feel lost today, take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you don't need to have everything figured out right now. You don't need to become someone great overnight. You just need to keep showing up for yourself, keep taking small steps, keep growing your roots deeper. Because one day, you will look back and realize that these small steps were actually building a life stronger and more beautiful than you ever imagined. This is the lesson that changed my life, and I hope it stays with you forever. Keep it in your heart, live it every day, and you will find that life starts to feel lighter, calmer, and more meaningful, no matter where you are right now.